In this video, I'm going to answer the question, how do you move level one traffic, which is cold traffic, never heard of you before. They have no idea that they have a problem. They have no idea that there's a solution to their problem. How do you move them from off of the stages of the customer journey into the awareness stage onto the customer journey so that you can ultimately move them to eventually purchase and become raving fans? My name is Tracy Reuter, and I'm the CEO of Divine Social. We are a social advertising agency specializing in Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, Pinterest advertising, Snapchat advertising, and all things social ads. And this is a video in a series of videos that I've been taking you through on the foundational importance of strategy using the customer journey and building any of your social campaigns. You know, if you've done any kind of advertising, and we've run millions of dollars, over, 5 million a year we're running in ads, you know that tactics are changing constantly. In fact, it's part of why all we do is social ads, is because things change so fast that you have to be on top of it all the time. So having somebody who does a little bit of everything and thinks that they're an ad expert, probably is a lot of things that they don't really understand. And it's hard to stay on top of the actual strategy itself. Actually, it's hard to stay on top of the tactics. The strategy piece that I'm going to share with you today, this is something that will stand the test of time. So if you caught my last video, I ended it. I left you with a little bit of a cliffhanger asking, how do we move level one traffic to the awareness stage? I want to encourage you, if you haven't watched any of the videos in the series, go back and watch them before we get into this piece, because this is where it gets really fun. So how do we move that level one traffic to the awareness stage? That's the key, right? Because that's the beginning of the psychological customer journey. All right, so let's jump in here real quick. So again, strategy all is founded on the customer journey. In the customer journey, this is a typical model, a psychological model of the customer journey, where it begins at awareness and it ends up in advocacy. And advocacy, as a reminder, is raving fans, people who are telling other people about you. They're telling other people to buy from you. It's referrals, it's word of mouth. It's the best, right? And that's our ultimate goal. We all want is we want people to love us, and we want people to tell other people about us and buy from us or do business with us over and over and over again. Now, there are other types of customer journeys. And in one of the videos that I shared in this series, I talked about how there is a behavioral customer journey. And a behavioral customer journey is something like they click, they go to a specific landing page, they start the checkout process, they add something to their cart, and so on and so forth. That's very, very different. That is a behavioral journey. This is a psychological journey. And this is so, so important, because if you don't take this into consideration and you only build your campaigns off of the behavioral journey, you're going to miss out on the ability to scale your business tremendously. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, one of our clients, by doing this with them, we've been working with them for a long time. They started off at about $1,500 a month in their ads. That's how much traffic they were running. And today they're running over $500,000 per month by following this process and over time building out these layers and really having campaigns and strategies for every step along the psychological journey. So it's really, really important. Okay, so let's continue on today. So how do we do this? So here at our agency at Divine Social, we have developed something that we call the 3-pillar strategy. And the 3-pillar strategy is something that we overlay on top of all of these things that I've been talking about in this video series. The 3-pillar strategy consists of 3 pillars. The first one being audience building. We always want to make sure that we are building audiences for our clients. This is super, super important to be able to have a huge a big ocean of people that you can move through the customer journey. The next thing is we want to be focusing on engagement. How are we providing value? How are we engaging with these audiences to get that know, like, trust, and remember factor? And I've done a video on that. You can go back and look for that as well. That's a really important concept, the know, like, trust, and remember. And that happens with the engagement pillar. And then finally, the pillar everybody loves, which is conversions. That's getting leads, sales, webinar registrations, you name it. While that is incredibly important, and that's where we become return on ad spend positive, if you're missing all of this other stuff, you're going to have a very hard time having the margins and having the long-term success using social ads. If you only focus on conversions, you'll be missing out if you miss the rest. So the 3-pillar strategy is very, very, very important. Now, if you want to know more about this, if you want to know more about the 3-pillar strategy, I've got a free mini class. It's a free video class with some worksheets that you can go through, and you can go to divinesocial.com/3pillars and get my 3-part, actually it's a one video with worksheets on the 3-pillar strategy. So if you definitely want to dive into that deeper, I'd encourage you to do that. Okay, so let's get back to our question, right? How do you move level one traffic? People who are not like, they're not even, they don't even know, they're cold traffic. They've not heard of you. They're unaware. They're problem. They don't even know they have a problem. They're not even on the customer journey. So how do we get them onto that continuum, right? How do we do it? Okay. So the first thing is we use audience building and engagement campaigns. Now, there are times that we can, take those two and blend them. A lot of times, that would look like something like video campaigns, where we're providing really, really great value. We're teaching something. We are demonstrating something. We're educating people at the top of the funnel, meaning they're cold traffic. They've never heard of you. And we can use those video view campaigns to be both audience building and engagement. It's kind of a 2-for-1 punch. And we do that quite a bit. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at creating some campaigns that are very specific to people who have never heard about you. So this is not the time for you to talk about how amazing you are or give your resume or anything like that. This is just for you to add incredible, major, major value and to speak to somebody who would be at a stage that would be unaware. We target these campaigns to people who don't even know they have a problem. They don't even know that they're, I'm trying to think of a great example. Let's say you have a product for people who need to work from home. And if you look at what's happened in our world not long ago with the coronavirus, and all of a sudden people had to work from home. Prior to that, they had no idea that this was even a problem for them or something that they would ever need to do, right? But there are companies who kind of were out there that all of a sudden people who weren't paying attention to them, suddenly they became aware, right? So these audience building and engagement campaigns are going to be targeted to people who are unaware and also targeted to people, to people who are problem unaware. Okay. So there's people who don't know that they have a problem. They don't know about you. They don't know about any of it. And then there are people who just, that next level up where they know they have a problem, but they don't even know that there's a solution that exists. And then ultimately we move those people to awareness, and that's how we get them on the customer journey and we begin the process. Now let's look at how to use the 3 pillars during the customer journey. So we talked about how the different temperatures of traffic. We've talked about the different levels of awareness. Here we're looking at the different levels of traffic. You can see level 1's not on here. We just talked about how to move them on here. We talked about how to move them into the awareness phase by using engagement and audience building campaigns. But now what you want to do is you move through this process and utilizing the 3 pillars to successful social ads that we have been pioneering for the last 5 years in our agency. You're going to use these different types of campaigns along this customer journey to be able to move people through the process and ideally move them through quickly. Okay. You want to move them through quickly because that's going to help you get cash flow positive. It's going to help you get return on ad spend positive, but it's going to really depend upon the length of your sales cycle and how good of a job you do with the touch points along the way. Okay. So at the interest level, typically this is going to be level 2 traffic. These are going to be people who have engaged with you in some degree. And this is where we use audience building and engagement campaigns. These aren't people who aren't necessarily quite ready. Now, occasionally we will test cold traffic right into offers. And we always do just to see, because sometimes it really converts, but we always want to make sure we have a feeder. We have something that we call recently engaged traffic. So people that have recently fallen into that level 2 or level 3 bucket, because the bigger that audience is, the less expensive it typically is to convert them and the faster we can convert them in the long run. Okay. So the next step is consideration. And this is again going to be that level 2 and level 3 traffic. We use a lot of engagement campaigns at this point. And then once we get to the pre-purchase stage, which is going to be level 3 and 4, that's when we start using engagement and conversion campaigns, as well as the level 4 and 5. We're using engagement and conversion campaigns at level 3, 4, and 5, all the way through moving people to advocacy. And it's really, really important to be taking into consideration the levels of traffic, the state of awareness, and then how are you going to use your messaging? How are you going to use your creatives? What types of the buckets or the pillars that you're going to put people in to move them through this process, because an engagement campaign has a different objective than maybe a conversion campaign does. And they all play together and they're all very, very important. Now, this whole process that I've taken you through, this is how we've been able to help our clients start small and over time get enough momentum, get enough of a foundation that they can grow and scale both their advertising budgets, but also their business, which is really the end goal, right? Our agency exists to help our clients prosper. And this is how we do it, by having this strategy and this process, taking into consideration the levels of awareness, taking into consideration the traffic temperatures, taking into consideration the psychological journey, the customer journey that people need to go through so that they can go from awareness to advocacy. It's incredibly powerful once you start to implement this in your business. Okay, so as we wrap up this series, I want to encourage you, if you haven't, again, as I mentioned earlier, we've got a free mini class for the 3-pillar strategy. This is an incredible foundation that's helped us not only grow our clients, but it's helped us grow our agency because we've been able to use this time and time again and get great results for our clients running their social ads. If you want to get that free mini class, go to divinesocial.com/3pillars and subscribe for that, and you'll get that and go through that process with the worksheets. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, I want to encourage you, if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it so you'll get notified every time we come up with a new video, because we'll have future series that we'll want to take you through and you'll never want to miss a video. And then finally, if you've got a question or a comment, I would love to hear from you. Go ahead and comment below. Let me know if you've got any questions or if you have any thoughts on this, if this has been helpful, if there's more that you'd like to hear from us about how to set up your advertising strategy so that you can grow and scale your business. We are here to help. So with that, my name is Tracy Reuter. The best is yet to come, and we'll see you next time.